Well, good morning. Welcome to Community Voice.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Keith Parris.
What your
Want to
name
thank
is?
everybody. Keith Parris. Well, thank everybody, Lottie, Dottie, everybody, for joining us this morning. And we really a lot of guests today. So I did get over to the Axos wine tasting last night.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a what do they call it? Sommelier, wine.
Not a wine enthusiast?
No, I was telling Michelle, my taste in wine is so pedestrian. I was at the table though with Chairman Nicholas and his wife, and I was saying, I didn't realize my uncle, God bless him, I know he's at home with the Lord. He was a wino on 3rd Street, and he used to drink Pink Pussycat. I did not know until I looked at the bottle hard. That's sherry.
Cooking sherry?
Well, sherry.
Yeah.
Which was but I think I got there because I stopped at Gengler to hear a little bit of Christopher's project yesterday. Sorry, man, you got bugged out last night.
Yeah.
So I did get a chance to get over there for that, and then got over for I think I was able to sample 5 wines by the time I got in there. I did get the cognac infused wine. That was interesting taste. Very, very interesting. And if you've ever been to a wine tasting, they don't get enough that you get your grog on, but usually it's cumulative, that you, especially the people there at the beginning, started off with number 1 of 17. But that was good one. They had a peach wine. I don't, like I said, my taste in wine is so pedestrian, man.
What is your taste in wine?
If I drink wine, I like this German wine, Riesling.
Yeah, Riesling.
Yeah,
because it's a little sweeter.
A little sweeter.
Pinot Grigio is a little sweet also.
That can get really sweet.
Yeah, too sweet.
Yeah, they get too sweet. I don't like dry wine. They did have a Argentinian Merlot.
Merlots are good, but
and they tempered it with something because she suggested you eat it with chocolate. But Merlot was always like cough syrup to me. It was just that thick, But So anyway, shout out. Was well attended. Glad I had a chance to get over there and to do that. So the good folks there, which I am a proud member of the NAACP, and to be able to do that, and certainly supporting the young people there at Axis. So here we go. All right, let me pull up my. There we go.
Hey, Mr. Parris.
We are on the line with us, Mr. Charles Wilson. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing very, very, very well. You're part of the Granville. I always get it, so help me out, Debo. Part of the Granville
R&B and Blues Festival.
Yes, sir. And you are one of the great stars in that whole Southern Soul movement.
Let me help you out a little bit, Keith.
Okay.
And tell me if you ever heard the song Mississippi Boy, still got Mississippi mud on my boots. I'm just a Mississippi boy. Well, that's one of Charles's. I could sing more, but this won't be about me. This is about the great Charles Wilson. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I just sent you Mississippi Boy 2025 this morning.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another one of his big ones right there.
You're a Chicago native?
I am.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know if you got any musical lineage in your family. There's this guy, Lil Milton.
That's my uncle.
That's your uncle, man. So you know, I was just reading your bio, and it says that you were performing in clubs and you couldn't even buy a beer.
Yeah, 14 years old, I couldn't drink.
How old were you?
I was 14.
14.
I started at 14 years old. At 14, at,
Oh, you hear yourself, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So at 14 years old, I started on the road. I was in my first year of high school. I started on the road carrying Bobby Rush clothes on the weekend. And that's how I started out here on the road. I started carrying Bobby Rush clothes to opening up shows to driving his van and whatever.
So you worked with the legendary Scrap Iron then.
Oh, that's like a big fake brother, man. I knew Scrap Iron before my uncle Milton knew him because he was a radio DJ in Yazoo, Mississippi.
Uh-huh.
So when you know, we see this now, you know, what is blues has evolved in some ways into Southern soul. How would you describe that, Southern soul?
Well, what happened in 2000, probably 2003, I had a friend of mine, Lenny Lewis from Jewel Paula Records. And at the time, I had Wilson Records. I had put out Mississippi Boy and 10 other artists, including Nelly Tiger Travis. And he called me up one day. He said, Charles Wilson, y'all ain't soul blues artists. Y'all Southern soul artists. And then he put out a compilation, Southern Soul Volume 1, Southern Soul Volume 2. And that's when they started saying the industry was Southern Soul. Now, you hear 3 or 4 tales about who started this thing called Southern Soul, but none of them are true. Lenny Lewis, the Jewel Paula Records, Sue Records down in Shreveport, Louisiana, he the one started calling this market Southern Soul.
So is there a discernible difference in sound when you think about what we call blues and now what we now call Southern soul?
It is.
Okay, how would you describe that?
When you talk Johnny Taylor, you talk soul blues. When you talk Tyrone Davis, you talk soul blues. When you talk Tucker, J1, you can call them Southern soul. But soul blues was here from the day one. Okay, I remember when they called Tyrone Davis and Johnny Taylor a soul artist. I remember when they called them an R&B artist.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went from R&B to blues.
Do you think that was because some of their songs charted in R&B, you know, on R&B charts, and that's probably why people wanted to put that descriptive on them?
Well, it was the industry heads that did that, because back in the day, Tyrone Davis and Johnny Taylor and Al Green was considered R&B.
Right.
Okay. And then later on, they said they were soul artists. Then they said they were blues artists, and they left it there. That come from the industry heads.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, because the way that they divide up markets, right? I mean, you know, it used to be, I guess back when Elvis was coming along, they would describe any kind of black music as race music. And then you would fit in what that was, that blues, that'd be jazz, that could be R&B. So how would you know, one of our local sons here, Harvey Scales, he penned the song "Disco Lady" with Johnny Taylor.
I remember. I know Harvey Scales.
So how would you describe a song like "Disco Lady"? Would that be R&B? Would that be Southern soul?
Disco Lady was soul song. It just came out during the disco era.
Okay.
But Disco Lady was the soul song.
Okay.
Now, if they want to classify it as R&B back then, which they probably did, but it was the biggest single that Columbia Record had ever sold in history.
Okay.
Johnny Taylor's song "Disco Lady" was the largest selling single that they ever had in the history of being Columbia Records.
Let me say this: it is noted as being the first platinum record ever.
Yeah. So when you're out now and you know you still touring strong and you still have a following, do you see another evolution when we look at Southern soul as a musical genre?
Well, yeah, because it's getting bigger, and number two, it's a younger audience. Uh, it's a whole new showgoers now. It's a whole new showgoers now. It's a younger audience. They seem to be taking Southern Soul to another level. Uh, it's selling records. It's selling streams back like when Tyrone and Johnny and Bobby Bland was selling gold records. Okay.
How much what is the Mississippi influence on this type of music?
They love it. Even the younger audience love it. It's a bit different from the North. The younger audience, some of them may love it, but the younger audience in Mississippi been loving the blues for years, and I've been coming down here since 1978, singing. And I cut my first record in 1978. But the younger audience, they always gravitated towards the blues as a young age. But up north, it was totally different. Because I'm from Chicago, and they wasn't really getting into it like the southern younger kids was.
And so they're pretty much perpetuating that evolution, that evolving of the music.
Well, it was considered country. It was considered not country music. It was considered country. It was the blues, and they didn't accept the culture well as the ones that lived down here in the South.
Okay, and so you're going to be with us this weekend here in Milwaukee. When?
Yes,
Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night he's the headliner. We got Christopher's Project. No. I'm getting the dates crossed up. I ain't gonna worry about what the other acts are. Charles is our headliner for Friday night, and he is guaranteed that he's gonna jump on top of tables, kick over drinks, and he's just gonna go crazy up there, right, Charles?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like Joe Tech. I'm just gonna be an acrobat.
Yeah, but again, we've got
was a true acrobat for real. Joe Tech was a true acrobat for real.
But yeah, we've got a big lineup this weekend, of course, and Charles is kicking it all off Friday night. Then Saturday night we have Star Red. Then on Sunday night we've got a young man that you are very familiar with. I know you did some recordings with Willie Clayton. So again, you guys will be in town on the same weekend, not necessarily the same day, but yeah, that girl belonged to me, Charles.
That's okay. Well, Willie said she belonged to him. I said she belonged to me. You said she belonged to you.
Right. We're gonna get this straightened out this weekend. We're gonna find out exactly who she belonged to.
We had that latter voice, so let's straighten it out.
Oh, we're gonna straighten it out. There's gonna be some straightening out around here this weekend. Trust me. And then Charles, I'm rather upset, man. You got folks calling my phone talking about, is it true you gonna be here? Why they didn't just call you?
I don't know. They can't call me. Let them call you. You tell me.
You're right. I'll tell you. All right, man. Thanks for your time. Go ahead, Keith.
Mr. Charles Wilson again. That the Granville Blues
R&B and Blues Fest.
R&B Blues Fest. He will be the headliner tomorrow night there at Granville's Blue and R&B.
R&B and Blues Fest.
R&B and Blues Fest. Doing Southern Soul. So we appreciate you, man. Nice talking with you.
Thank you so much. Same here.
All right. Appreciate you, Mr. Charles Wilson.
Hey, man, safe travels. We'll see you when you get in.
All right, then. All right. I'm headed your way.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You know, it's always interesting, though, when people from Chicago, they'll say, I went down to Milwaukee. Technically, you don't go down. You go up to Milwaukee.
We go down to Chicago.
We go down to Chicago.
Hey, it's funny that we talking about. I just had this conversation the other day.
South,
So
south is down. Yeah.
I just had this conversation the other day with somebody that's actually from Chicago, and she was like, "It's funny because we say going down there, and y'all say going down, but it's really they supposed to say going up there." Yeah, I'm like, yeah, because we go down to Chicago, y'all come up to Milwaukee. Yeah,
that's interesting though when you think about and just in Chicago in general, when you listen to the music, Mississippi has an enormous influence on the styles of music. I mean, if you just if you listen to like gospel from Chicago,
yeah, oh yeah,
it is really kind of gut.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
strong. It's hard.
Yeah.
If you like LA, it's melodic.
Yeah.
It's light. You know,
Yeah.
New York is really symphonic,
Yeah.
and but Chicago is
Chicago
just
is that
just
pressure. Yeah.
right,
It's
man.
pressure.
I mean, they come hard,
Yeah.
man. Ricky Dillard is a great example. They
Yeah.
just come hard, and I was listening. I'm kind of going like, wow. Or if you listen, and I'm only talking about gospel, but the same thing when you look at the South Side of Chicago, the people that the South Side back in the day produced.
Yeah.
You know, where you get Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
You get Curtis Mayfield. You know, Maurice White came from Memphis, right? Moves to Chicago, work at Chess Records, and then he starts. But you could always hear that kind of I would say churchy.
Yeah.
But and then even with the church, you hear the blues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that was always the dynamic tension that you had, where a song like Precious Lord, where people thought it was too jazzy, too bluesy.
Yeah.
And now for young people, that's just
that's an old hymn.
And that's how music evolves,
Yeah.
though. And I think that a lot of times we get stuck in I was going to do this, and I opened up the phone lines. I always ask the question, what was the greatest decade for music?
Yeah.
It really depends on when you came along.
And you know what?
Because my decade was always the best.
Nah, man, I think the 80s and 90s was good. But even even when you look at gospel music like the Walter Hawkins and the Hawkins family, that era was the introduction of somewhat disco, somewhat the style of gospel music changed from organs and tambourines to a different upbeat, and it was the time of that struck. Yeah,
Oakland.
Yeah,
and I was just watching the trial of Huey Newton this morning, and I was thinking, because that happened around '68. Oh Happy Day came out in '68. The Hawkins are from Oakland, and so those influences that you have, it's like Prince.
Yeah.
Prince being where Prince is, that style was uniquely, but it was influenced probably by all the cultural things that was happening in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Right. So where Prince never did a heavy bottom, his song was never about the bass. It was always really about the high.
Yeah.
Because he sang high.
Yeah.
But then you get Atlanta.
Yeah.
And you get that heavy bottom.
Yeah.
I never forget back in the day, I went to a place called Mr. V's Figure Eight, right? And this was this club in Atlanta, and it was like in this strip mall, and it was like the spot to be. The crazy thing was they advertised earthquake sound, right? And so I'll never forget, man, when they ran that bass. I had never heard a bass that heavy, because at that point I grew up here in the Midwest. We had our own sense, and again, a lot of it was really, really bluesy. And then then I was in Maryland. So for Black folks out there, especially from the DC area, they call it trash can. What is it really called? We call it trash can. God, that would be EU, and why can I think of what the name of that go-go. And that it was like go-go, and go-go was a whole different sound. And even if you listen to Marvin Gaye's Got to Give It Up, it was that DC go-go. So the regions have different folks who, based on the music. So it depends on Andre.
Now, I heard you and Charles talking, but I kind of thought, and I know in talking with Harvey wrote a few songs for my last album, but Disco Lady was actually meant to kind of step into the disco era, because you had a lot of the Donna Summers and different ones. That record did so well because of the era that it came out in.
And the reason why it's still timely now, Steppers, they use that one to step to. So it was a kind of a different kind of sound when you looked at it back with the because that's when we really get into the electronic sound during the disco, which I think is really underrated music. A lot of people really underrate it. Are we gonna go to the guests, or we're going to a break? Good morning. We have on the line with us Miss Tiffany Terry. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm well.
Let me start this off. Young lady, you can
Thank you.
you can sing. I see your posters. I've been coming to work over there on what's it, like 35th, and I see your
Yes.
poster. I never heard you sing, right? I'm going like, oh, they just hyping her. I heard you sing. You can sing. I'm sorry, I did that all wrong. You can sing. You better. You can. Put the A in it. So, and Jarvis, your brother. Did you? I was just wondering this as we talked about you and your career. Did you guys ever do anything together, or was just you had your own lanes when it came to singing?
We had our own lane. He writes songs for me. He wrote my new single Big Back.
Okay, okay,
So a lot of the music that I do, my brother produced and wrote.
okay. But y'all never did like
Nothing.
y'all
We
didn't
have
do
to do
duets at
that.
church. Y'all didn't do a duet.
Of course.
Oh, you're
Many of you at the church. Yes.
y'all what Daryl and Phoebe.
Yes. Yes.
And had nobody sang it.
What is big?
It was just me.
I got it, and I haven't. I just saw your mom. Can your mom sing?
Yeah, my mom can sing a little bit.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay. All these good talents that people have. Oh man. So when you look at what really attracted you to music, did you grow up in an environment?
I grew up in the church. My grandfather was a pastor. I loved the music, but I didn't have a choice at the same time.
Okay. Okay. Listen, William's brother, I was on drugs because my mama drugged through the church.
Let me tell you something. I got one of the worst equipment I ever got in my life from my great grandmother because I did not do that song in the sunshine. And I had the mic. The king was singing, but I was lip syncing. When I got home, I ain't never lip synced again. Trust me,
I know you didn't.
We're going to get into trauma of early church performances. Still dealing with traumatic from early church performances. All those youth programs where they put you out there. I am. I'm still stuck for mine. So, who were some of your influences in terms of, we all listen to hear people attracted to. Who were some of your influences?
I love the Clark sisters. Shirley Caesar was one of my all-time favorites. Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston. I love them.
Someone who I thought was really underrated as a singer, and it probably had more to do with who her dad was Natalie Cole.
Oh, yeah. Natalie Cole's amazing.
Yeah, Natalie Cole had a few, but I think, when Natalie Cole is your dad, it's like you play basketball and Michael Jordan is your dad. I mean, how do you?
Yeah.
She married Yancey over there. Marvin Yancey. That kind of changed some things. So I think that's when Mr. Melody and all the things he began to do, came around with him as a producer.
So when you look to do songs, what do you look for in a song that will attract you to that song?
I want to sing music that inspires, that can tell a story, and then music that I can relate to.
Getting your lick back, you can relate to that.
Come on now, what? Yes, that's my story.
That's autobiographical.
What are you back? That's the one she most recently did Sir Charles Dickens, the legend in the industry. So again, you were with us Saturday, right?
Yes, I'll be with you guys Saturday at the Blues Fest, Mr. B, Privilege Lounge out there in the park. Y'all better come check me out. 8633 West Round Deer Road.
Ain't on the patio. You out there, man. You talking about under the big tent. It's going down.
It's going down, y'all. Make sure to bring y'all hats, y'all boots, y'all fans, and everything else.
Everything else.
I see you, Star Red. I look forward to the commercials going up to the Easter Bash. Oh my God. She sound like a mama. Oh, she sound like a mama. Oh, man. So, what can people expect? You tell us put on our boots and our hats. What
I just tell y'all gotta be. We gonna dance. We gonna line dance. We gonna pop the sand. We gonna sing. We gonna have an amazing time, y'all.
I'm glad you said fans. He said we gonna pop that back, man. Okay, thank you, man. Thank you, Jesus. There's gonna be some of that going on too. What time do you take the stage, Star Red?
I hit the stage at 8:30 p.m.
All right. Granville.
And you know what? I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just great talent in the city. Yeah. And
It is.
yeah, so to be able to, yeah, like I said, I saw the poster. Like, I'm a hater. I saw the poster like, yeah. Then I heard it. I was like, yeah.
Listen, I'm so glad to say that I know it. Like, I know her and I know her very well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Gang.
That might be some of that haterism keeping rubbed off on me. I'm so proud of her. And, we're pushing and working every day to keep her name out front. She is not just local, but certainly national. Still working with the heavy hitters like Sir Charles, flying you out to the planet of film videos, and just recently had a little Kinky George out in Las Vegas. So, and she's working. She's been to Nashville, singing down there. So now our little secret got out there, y'all.
That's right.
All right. So, Keith, you want to wrap it up?
Saturday night, we're at on at 8:30. She's the headliner. Oh man, you don't want to miss her.
Yes, I'll be there too. I want to see what I
No, that's right.
Star Red, anything you want to say, Barney?
I just want to say that Milwaukee, I cannot wait to see you this Saturday, June 28th at 8:30 p.m. at the Granville Blues Fest. We're going to have a time, y'all. Thank you guys for having me. Yes.
You're listening to the Community Voice. I'm going to go and die. And we'll be right back.
You're inside Community Voice on WAFM 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Harris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice. I did not die during the break, and so I am back. We got him. Well, it's that time. You know, it's time for Homer Bull's birthday party for the kids. What up, Homer?
Bless, man. Bless. How are you?
Oh, good. I thought you was gonna come in doing virtual Keith.
What's going on? Oh, look at the weather for today.
And that's where we had the, the mute buttons. And they say, "Hey, dude, that's what the button is for, man." I'm
absolutely.
dying, man. Just
right.
dying.
Right.
Yeah, man. What the time program? And again, Mr. Homer Blow again. We were here, and Homer was reprogramming something on his computer, right? And I know if I wanted to do the outlet or whatever I did, but I disconnected. Oh my God. Yeah, man. But Homer never yelled at me. But that look of disappointment.
That goes a long way, doesn't it?
Do something. Yeah, why don't you just yell at me, man? He just had that look like, oh, just so disappointed. How you been, man?
I've been blessed, man. I cannot complain, man. I cannot complain. I'm always super excited as it gets closer to this time of year for the birthday party for the kids. So I'm always super, super excited, amped, and just trying to make sure that we have the best 31st annual celebration that we can have.
Wow, 31 years, man.
Yes, sir.
What does that look like this year, Homer, as far as bikes? And I mean, you just always go over the top anyway.
Yeah, this year I know that I have purchased more toys and bikes and electric ride-in cars than I've had through the other 30. So a lot of great things that the children will love. I love going shopping for the children because the excitement I get, you would think that I am the kid, even though it's my birthday, but I look at and follow like some of the trends and some of the hot toys and hot items. And I make sure that I pick them up. And that's one of the things that I've always been complimented on is like, Blow, this ain't like you, and no knock to anybody that goes to the dollar store or whatnot, because I mean, your budget is your budget. But I want you to be able to get Roman Reigns, not Roman tightrope. You feel what I'm saying? So if I'm going to give you a WWE character, it's going to be a WWE character. And just to see the looks on the children's faces when they come and they see the big bounce houses. So, we lost. The grounds will look a little different this year because MKE Rec is doing one of their massive projects on the Metcalf and Fitzsimmons Boys and Girls Club playground. So the grass area, we don't have any of that this year. So it's the bounce houses that will be on the grounds. They will be starting right at the where the pavement starts because we have that. But it's such a huge area. So we'll have bounce houses there. If I can't get all 10, because 6 of them are super huge. That's one of the things that I'm excited about. We'll put some on 33rd Street, which I have blocked off as well. Again, we can't do the horse rides and the petting zoo that I was going to do because we don't have the grass this year. But it's still fun. The MFD Mobile Survival Live House will be there because I always want children to learn. You think about our community, there's a lot of fires that take place. And I think that with the children learning how to get out safe and just to be able to remind their parents or their guardians, like, hey, if this happened, we supposed to do this. Do we got a meeting spot? So to educate and let the children have fun at the same time. The MPD ice cream truck, we're going to have more ice cream. We were able to get them in where they can store some ice cream inside of the freezers on the property. So, because normally they run out of ice cream so quick. And so there'll be at least 1,500 cups of ice cream that they'll be able to get this year. I've got so many elected officials that'll be coming out. We got Spectrum, we got Bader Philanthropy. Spectrum will be giving away Chrome notebooks as they have done, Miss Margaret Bailey Stewart. We've got Mighty Small Moments, Office of Early Childhood Initiative, always giving out some great things and working with the younger children because it's smart, to teach them. You got to catch them at them early ages. We've got Malika Early Learning Center. We've got West Care, Wisconsin, Travis Landry over there, who does so much in the community already, but he's partnered up with the birthday party for the kids and a lot of other things that I do. So they'll be there providing hot dogs. Tony Kearney from Northcott Neighborhood House has donated his stage for this year. So it's a lot. New Pitts Mortuary always supports Unite WI, Bria Grant, Children's Knowledge Learning Center 2 and 3, Greater Milwaukee Urban League, Oasis, Red Crab, Eisenberg, Riley, and Zimmerman. So many people, Dog City, that have came aboard to help and make sure that this birthday party is continuing to grow and create a different celebration and atmosphere. But the toys are the star of the show. The toys. When those children come in and see those toys, it's always a blessing. So it's this Saturday. So people are like, well, when is it? It's this Saturday. It's at the Fitzsimmons Boys and Girls Club along with Metcalf School. That's 3400 West North Avenue, right on the corner of 34th and North. You will see it. You will hear the preparations. People line up as if the children line up like they go into a club. They're good at move that I see Keith Parris make. But the children line up early. So when you come, it's one of those things you can say, get there early. We got room, you know what I'm saying, to host the people, but you will probably be in a long line because even if I don't promote this party, they already know that it's coming. So, besides being able to have billboards and all of the promotions and advertising that I'm doing, children know when they see me, they like, we coming to your party. Ain't it coming up? So the parents ask, the grandparents ask. So 2 to 6 p.m. It's free for everyone. And although teens are there, the party is geared for 2 to 13 years old. So it's a different type of entertainment when you're dealing with teens because I DJ all kind of parties like that. So, but for the children, I know how to engage the younger children as well as engage teens and adults and people like Keith Parris who are grown. So, you know what I mean? So it's an experience, man. And the children look forward to it. We got the hot dogs. We got burgers. We got pizza. We got Kool-Aid, the red kind. We got cake. We obviously got ice cream. We'll have some snacks. There will be different sponsors and vendors that have different games that the kids can play. So it's just a fun time for the children to be able to be children and be in a safe environment. Sheriff Dr. Danita Ball and her sheriffs will be there at the celebration as they have been every year. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman will be out of town, but his MPD, Marcy, and the whole staff, they'll be there as they do and engaging with the children and having fun with the children. So it's a lot of cool things that happen on this Saturday, June 28th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., 3400 West North Avenue, the 31st annual Home Blow birthday party for the kids. If that doesn't show dedication, I don't know what does.
I want to know how every time you always add another grown. I'm up to about 5 grown now, man. I'm not that old.
When is your birthday?
Mine is July 12th. When is yours?
So I'm June 23rd, but I always celebrate. I don't celebrate it for myself, so I do. And it's when on my birthday. I don't know about yours on July 12th, but on my birthday, the mayor gave me Homer Blow Day throughout the city of Milwaukee for my actual birthday. So June 23rd is a holiday. But then to top it off, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, they don't give days, but he started the inaugural executive proclamation and gave Homer Blow. June 23rd is Homer Blow Day in the entire Milwaukee County. The second person to get a day by the county exec, because they didn't usually give out days, is Snoop Dogg.
Okay,
Fun fact.
We
Fun
still.
fact. But when you get yours, when did you get yours?
Fun fact is, you still added 5 grown. So
well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I could put in a good word for you.
Yeah, do that, man. Hey, we got a caller. They want to just hold on. Let the caller tell you what they want to do. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Homer still there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Homer, can you hear him? Okay.
Yep, I can hear.
This is Short Dog.
Yeah, I saw you make a comment on one of my posts that you said you're going to try to make it.
Yeah. Now that I know where it's at now, I got some little race cars.
Okay.
That I have still new. You got a talent show down there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
for children between the ages of 2 to 13.
2 to 13? Okay. Well, these cars is worth like $300 a piece. So
sounds like a bunch of the cars that I got. It sounds like a bunch of the cars that I got.
We gotta talk too, because I build them too.
Okay. Just like you posted on social media, just end up inboxing me and we can talk. Because other than that, we'll have this conversation going in a whole different direction. But you know how to message me, and we can talk offline, and whatever it is, we can deal with it then. All right. But thank you, and I love you, bro.
Hey, you now. Stay good.
Okay.
Hold on now.
Homer, I'd be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity over the airways of WNOV to certainly express what 38 plus years on these airways have meant to you in working with Mr. Jones and the loss of him.
It's actually, for me on the airways, it's 34, but 33 of those years were with Mr. Dr. Gerald Jones, you know what I'm saying? And for him giving me that opportunity, it was June 11th, over 34 years ago, that he believed in me, and he gave me that opportunity along with the GM at that time, Miss Sandra Robinson. And they believed in me, and I was there just a few years, and they elevated me to be the program director and music director of WNOV. And that's a big task, to give someone control of what will be the face, the image, the sound of your asset, which is WNOV 860 AM and now 106.5 FM as well. So I've, a lot of people that worked for me at that time, it was like they never saw Mr. Jones. They never saw Mr. Jones, but I would see Mr. Jones frequently. I have a lot of great pictures that I was able to take with the late. It's so crazy to have to say that, the late Mr. Jones. And when I would get called over to 2nd Street, it was unlike most people who would get called over to 2nd Street. If you got called over to 2nd Street from the station, it was probably not a good thing.
Right.
But for me, it was a bunch of accolades, and I like what you're doing, and just any suggestions that you might have. Be like, how do you think that this would work? And if we did this, and if we did that. So I never got the angry call that some of my former staff would get, and be like, shut your mouth, don't say nothing else on the air. And then I would get the call to end up making sure that I met with the people that had to get the call. And but man, I mean, talk about a humbling experience. And just, I can say I had a great boss, and great bosses for that matter. like I say, to trust me with the direction of the sound, the personalities on the air, the choices of the shows, and all of that. That is a huge thing that a lot of people don't get, and I never took it lightly. And we always had great interaction. So when he would come to the holiday parties at the station, he would always bring up the fact about the Al Sharpton thing, because I would tell people and be like, for real. But to hear Mr. Jones tell you about, I was about to use it, but that Igor stole Homer's name of his show. And Homer had him on his show a couple of times. And then here we go, some years later, he come out with keeping it real. So to hear Mr. Jones talk about it, man, and when he believed in you and trusted you, that was a thing that can't be matched, man. So I have so many memories, man. And he knows that my blood, sweat, and tears was WNOV. And I'm talking about when I had to run WNOV, literally no on-air personalities or anything, by myself. And he knew that I could handle it. He trusted me to handle it, and it got handled. Situations happened. I had to live in the transmitter tower for 2 months when a situation happened that where I'm going, Debo. In the winter now. Let's talk about the dead of winter.
Yeah,
and I told him, I said, you know what? I can get us back on while we work on these other situations that were going on. And you say, how can you do that? Because, radio and TV is about advertising. So I'm like, I can make sure the commercials play. I can make sure the music is playing. So I lived in that tower day and night on 30th and made sure that WNOV didn't die.
Some of your stuff in there.
Huh?
Some of your bowls and dishes are still in there.
No. Oh, well, I don't know how that happened.
I'm just talking.
Yeah. It's a bunch of cobwebs that's in there. I'm just saying. Man. I just always, because of the trust and the love and respect he had for me, I always just continue to show him that I'm willing to go above and beyond for you, Mr. Jones, because we had a lot of intimate conversations, man, and just to be able to sit and engage with him, it was a blessing. You feel what I'm saying? It was a blessing. And I have nothing but great conversations and memories of Mr. Jones from when we were on 20th and Teutonia, and you walk up those stairs, hey, old blow. So come in here for a minute. I'm like, okay. So I was always waiting on the shoe to drop to get that call that some other people got.
You do a great impersonation of him, right?
I can what?
I said, you do a great impersonation.
Yes. 33 years, Debo. 33 years? Man, Listen, man. I'm an honorary son or something. You know what I'm saying? Like 33 years, man, of a person that had a 61-year career. You feel what I'm saying? In this lane.
Right.
Like over half of that, I was with him.
Right.
So, I mean, it's an emotional thing for me. And I'm trying not to, kind of go there right now. But, man, I love and respected Mr. Gerald Jones so much. And he loved and respected me. Yes, and that was just important, man. That was super important. That was super important.
I'd ask you to do this if you could. We're going to hold some of that till July 27th. I'm going to show it on the screen there. There will be a memorial service, a celebration of life, if you will, July 27th from 3 until 6 p.m. For Dr. Gerald W. Jones at Holy Redeemer Institutional Church of God in Christ, 3500 North Mother Daniels Way, right here in Milwaukee, over there with Pastor Valerie Daniels Carter. We've got some great choirs and so forth as a part of this celebration that we're planning. Anthony McGahee and his choir, Bishop Neil Roberson is coming in, Pastor R.L. Smith and Jermaine Rideout will be there. With what he'll be doing. So just a lot planned, a lot of elected officials and what have you. And we're up against the break now, so we got to get things back into Keith's hands. So anything you'd like to say in parting, Keith, go ahead and take it up with Homer.
So when I first got here, how often I got sent for So I mean, with Homer, he called them down as positive. When I had to go down there, it wasn't always positive, right? So, but I'm still here, so I was able to survive. Hey, Homer, man, I love and appreciate you, man. Thank you for all that you do, man.
Thank you.
Man, I've long admired you, and then the opportunity to work with you, man. And so, yeah, you're one of my heroes, man.
Thank you, man. That means a lot, and I don't take those compliments lightly. I
31st
appreciate it.
annual Homer Blow's birthday celebration.
Yeah,
for the
and let me do
kids.
this before we get out of here.
What's that?
When we do Hater Nation, that intro was created by Homer Blow. Thank
Hi,
you.
hater.
Yeah,
Hi.
absolutely. Yeah, man. Listen, man. This Saturday, people, make sure your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, community kids, make sure that they're there. 3400 West North Avenue. It's the Fitzsimmons Boys and Girls Club, 3400 West North Avenue on the corner of 34th and North. It is the 31st annual Home Blow birthday party for the kids. Instead of doing a celebration for me, I do a celebration and give away toys and gifts and fun times for the children.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Love y'all.
I love you
Love
too.
you too, man.
All right. You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And I think we do this every fourth Thursday, right? Right?
Yep, every fourth Thursday.
Good folks here from Housing Resources Inc. Hey, Lisa.
Hi, how you doing today?
And you just introduced you are.
My name is Emmett Gross. I'm the Home Retention Manager with Housing Resources.
So what? Well, I know what Lisa does. So tell us about what your role is there at Housing Resources.
All right. So I know you know what Lisa does. So Lisa does all the work to help people get in the homes. What I do is work with people who are already in homes. So everything I pick up from where Lisa leaves off. So everything from questions about foreclosure, issues with taxes. You know, we had these assessments that went up last month. We worked with people to help address their assessments, home maintenance issues, equity issues, anything that helps people stay in the home once they're in the home is what I really focus on.
Lisa, are there grant assistance for people who are looking to buy homes?
Yes, so the Milwaukee Home Grant came out about 2.5 weeks ago. Basically, if you live in the city of Milwaukee and you're looking to purchase in the city of Milwaukee, you can qualify for either $5,000 or $7,000 towards your down payment to help you get into the home. So if you do not own a home and you want to come through the program, take advantage while you can, and it can be used towards conventional financing or FHA financing.
So is there like a cap to what it is? Is it means tested?
Yep. So basically, income limits is involved in this grant this time with this rollout. However, you still want to come through the program, meet with the counselor so they can go over your income with you to see if you qualify for that grant.
For people who have existing mortgages and they might have an issue paying their mortgage, is there assistance in trying to help them navigate that?
There's no financial assistance, unfortunately. There was a lot of money during the COVID pandemic. There's a lot of money out to help people pay mortgages, but all that's pretty much gone now. So what we do to help people who are having trouble pay their mortgages, help them deal directly with their mortgage company to negotiate workout plans, try and get loan modifications, repayment plans, things like that.
You know, we talk a lot whenever you all are on about this idea of wealth and, you know, housing is real estate is wealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how it's transferable wealth. But one of the benefits of people buying a home, owning a home is equity. Explain home equity and why that's so important.
Yeah, equity is a huge important thing that everybody that owns a home needs to understand. And it's a little tricky because it's more of a concept than it is a real thing. It's basically the idea that there's cash value in your home. And the easiest way to think about it is the difference between what you owe on the home and what the home is worth. So just to use kind of simple numbers, if your home is worth $100,000 and you owe $50,000, then in theory, you have $50,000 equity in the home. The catch is that that's not cash money, right? You have to do something to turn that into money. And usually that means borrowing it. And the problem with borrowing it is that adds debt to your property. And so what I see a lot with people, especially when they inherit a home from a parent or a grandparent, is they come in and they say, you know, my grandparent bought this home in 1989. They paid $40,000 for it. And now the mortgage company is telling me there's still a mortgage on it and we owe $90,000 on it. And so we look through the paperwork and we see, yeah, they bought it in 89 for $40,000, but they refinanced in 94. They refinanced again in 02. They refinanced again in 2012. So you're only, 10 years into this mortgage and this is the amount that you owe. And it's really kind of painful sometimes to see that because, that older generation, they bought homes to build this generational wealth, and to see it kind of taken away through refinancing, not fully understanding or being taught into these predatory loans by people outside, and seeing that wealth being sort of stripped from the future generation is really a painful thing. So if you own a home, you really need to understand equity and how to manage it, and that's a big part of what we do in the post-purchase side.
You talked about that in terms of we know in the early 2000s there were a lot of predatory lending going on, and people, how important is that counseling where you're looking at what the terms of the loan agreement where some people go, oh no, there's no interest, and you get hit with a balloon payment. Do you all work with folks to kind of get them to understand the consequences of the different type of financing that they might use?
Yeah, we'll sit down and dig through the paperwork line by line if we need to make sure that everybody understands what's going on, and we'll look at alternatives. So, this refinance might because interest rates are higher now, it's probably going to put your interest rate higher than it was before. But what are the trade-offs there? And then, depending on your goals, what are some other ways to do what you want to do rather than refinance? Look at perhaps a HELOC or a home equity loan, or just wait a little bit until interest rates go down and borrowing's more favorable for you.
What about folks though who there's some folks who they will do a fixed rate and then they'll do the adjustable rate. Can you just the advantages, disadvantages of both of them?
Yeah, so the advantage of a fixed rate is that your principal and interest payment is going to be the same for the life of the loan. Now, that payment can still vary because there's going to be escrow issues that go into taxes and insurance, and that's going to change every year. But your principal and interest is going to stay the same. Adjustable rate usually will have an initial period where it's fixed. It's usually somewhere between 6 months and 5 years, depending on the loan. And then it will adjust periodically after that, usually every 6 to 12 months. And the reason people get into adjustable rates, it's typically a little bit easier to qualify credit-wise than it would be a fixed rate. And sometimes those adjustable rates start out with what we call a teaser rate, which is a below market rate. So it might look good initially that you're getting this lower than market interest rate, but in a year or 2 years or whenever, that rate's going to jump up and it's going to cost you more money in the long run.
And then you also kind of more at the because we understand that over and beyond what the Fed does in terms of setting rates, there are the economic factors. We found out earlier with the impact of the tariffs in the bond market, and when the bond market began to sell off, that impacted interest rates, which then could impact your home interest rate, right?
Yep. Yeah. A lot of those adjustable rates are tied to a bond market, either the treasury rate or another bond market. So as those change, that can affect how much that interest rate is going to change. Yep.
But and getting back to, but there is a benefit in having equity in your home. Let's say you might want to do a student loan for. I mean, there are things, people start businesses based on equity.
Yep.
But then people also just, as you say, keep refinancing, and so then you pretty much just take most of the equity out the home, right?
Yeah. Equity, it's a tool, and it can be a very powerful tool, a very beneficial tool, but it also, has that other edge where if you're not careful with the way you manage it, or you don't understand what you're getting into and you get talked into a bad loan, it can end up hurting you. And what really happens, what we see is with, going back to the example I was talking about earlier with second or third generation that's trying to unpack all this equity borrowing that's been happening over the last 10 years or however long it's been, is that oftentimes they get this home and it's so leveraged. There's so much debt on it, and especially if it needs repairs, the thing they do is look to sell it, and they're usually going to look to sell it cheap and sell it quick. And this is gentrification. This is how gentrification happens. That's been a hot button issue here in Milwaukee for the last 5 years, but it's a long plan. It's a 20-year plan to make this gentrification happen. And we're seeing it happen now, that you have this home that your grandparents bought to build equity, to build wealth, to build a community. And you get stuck in a situation where you don't have an option other than to sell it off. And then all that equity, all that time, all that money, all that work goes in someone else's pocket.
When you talk about once you get the home, I think we talked about it last time you all were here. You go from, if you've been a renter, the maintenance and all those things are handled by the landlord. Now you're the landlord. Do you counsel with people telling them you need to be prepared? You just talked about maintenance on the home, ongoing maintenance, upkeep. Do you talk to them about that, and they're clearly understanding what that level of responsibility is when it comes to that home?
Yes, we have a post-purchase class that we do quarterly that focuses a lot on the physical maintenance of a home. We have our tool loan center, which is just down the street here on 25th and Capitol, and our rehab specialist, Tracy Polk, and that's his specialty. He works with homeowners that have questions about, how do I get this fixed? How do I find the contractor? what's a reasonable cost for these repairs, and he works, directly with people to get that work done. We also have a program for the Metcalf Park neighborhood, running between 27th and 38th Street and Center and North Avenue. It's up to $10,000 in grant money for critical home repairs on homes, that just launched a couple weeks ago, and we're trying to get as many people as we can into that program and get that money for those repairs.
Lisa, so when you talk
Yes.
about that whole idea, well, not idea, the where there are grants available to help people, what do they need to do to apply for that?
So they just have to take our home buyer education workshop, schedule their one-on-one counseling appointment with the counselor, and at that appointment they'll go over their income, their affordability, their budget, look at their grant eligibility, and let them know if they qualify or not for the grants. And we can layer, like I keep saying, grants on top of each other. So the Milwaukee Home Grant is just one grant. We also still have our Hickory Grant, which is up to $8,000. Banks also offer down payment assistance that we can layer. So there's multitudes of grants. You just need to do that first step and come into the program.
Do you all have any upcoming workshops or resource fairs?
Yeah, we just had our annual home ownership fair June 7th, but every week we're hosting a workshop. So if it doesn't fit into your schedule you're worried about, we offer different times, dates. Just give our office a call and we can go over that with you to find the right workshop that works best for your schedule.
You wanted to say something?
Just wanted to mention we also have post-purchase workshops, 6-hour classes, and those are held quarterly. The next one will be in September, second Saturday in September.
What else you got for me? No?
Nothing. Just come on down to Housing Resources. If you do not own a home, or even if you do own a home to get services, I guarantee you that all the information that you get, it will be beneficial for you.
Yep. And I just want to put another plug in for our Tool Loan Center and Tracy Polk, our rehab specialist, especially if you're in the Metcalf Park neighborhood and looking for repairs. You can contact him directly. His phone number is 414-449-0705. Tool Loan Center, and everything he does is a great resource for people that are in homes and have questions about how to take care of those homes.
The city used to have, is that still through the city?
It's so it's the same building. It's essentially the same program. We took it over from the city.
Yeah.
Because the city had several locations.
Yeah.
I can remember there was one there on the south side on the Beecher.
Yeah, the south side one closed, and we sort of rolled everything into the 25th and Capitol location.
Right.
Now.
And I think also, could have been doing some work with Community Warehouse too. That was over in Walker's Point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's one thing that Tracy is really great at too, is connecting all those other resources together. So yeah, Revitalize Milwaukee, Community Warehouse, all those places. He's really an expert on networking and getting all that stuff together to make sure homeowners have every resource that's available to them.
So if people want to contact you, your contact information there at Housing Resources Inc.
414-461-6330, or you can go online to hri-wi.org.
Lisa, always good seeing you.
Thank you.
Emmett, first time, man.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for giving me the time to talk.
And just here with us every month, giving you information on how to purchase a home, how to finance a home, paying a home.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. And so, again, let me thank the good folks there at Housing Resources, Inc. They're with us every month just to talk about home ownership. You know, we always talk about how they say $1 in the Black community circulates for only about 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 hours. And part of that is that many of the folks, certainly in Milwaukee and in the Black community, are renters. And many of the people that own those homes don't even live in the city. There's so many out-of-state people who own the homes. And so though the city might get something in terms of property taxes, other than that, the people who own those homes don't live there. And that means that they don't shop there. And so all the different things that you need to support businesses and development in a community. So as much as we can to be able to expand the number of people who do own their own homes. Now, there's some people, they don't want the responsibility of home ownership. Appreciate that. There are older people who are getting out their homes now. As we're going to have to make a decision because there are a lot of people, you get older, you want to be on one level, and if you have a home where there's 2 levels, that means there's stairs. And so as you get older, those stairs begin to hurt a little bit more than they did when you were a kid. So the importance of home ownership cannot be, I think, underestimated. That was going to, it's interesting, and thank you, Debo, for this. Debo put up that KP that you see there, and then Community Voice is really nice. Michelle got a little jealous, hater. But Rhonda bought, I think they're espresso, espresso, and the espresso cups are the little ones, I'm thinking. And so she got one with our initials. Well, Kennedy and I share an initial. And Kennedy is drinking, I think she does cappuccino. So she took my cup because it had a K on it. And now it's her cup. It's her cup. I had my godson with me yesterday, and we stopped by the house, and they spent a lot of time with us. And there was this basketball hoop, this little Smurf basketball hoop. And we started talking about the memories of that. It started with his brother. His brother tore up the first one. But I'd be in the basement, and I'm hearing them up there, man. And it was like they was at Our Avenue, dunking, just dunking, man. I said, man, y'all made so much noise on that hoop. I'm surprised it's still there. I don't know. I didn't do like the neighbors do, go take the hoop down. But, man, they used to play in that little Smurf. And I just found a little Smurf ball. We were doing some cleaning, found the Smurf ball that they use. But, man, they be dunking. Like, dude, that little, it's that little. Yeah. With the backboard. Yeah, had a little backboard on there, man. So anyway, again, the draft was last night. Underwhelming. Kind of knew where people were going. Somebody's even asked the question: does the NBA? It is. These drafts, probably the last great draft, and maybe somebody can 2003.
What Wade and all of those guys?
Yeah, that was probably. I don't know. There could have been some since then. You've had some great players, but and the way and this is, but okay, I'm babbling now. But they talk about Cooper. What's his last name?
Flag,
because it's Cooper Cup too.
Yeah. Cooper Cup.
Him going to Dallas, but the thing about him going to Dallas. Well, he might have to do something because Kyrie, everybody's saying Kyrie might be back. I don't know. I know he's coming back from ACL. I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon. But it says there's not a lot of pressure on him, Flag, to have to be able to carry that franchise where some other number ones have come out. And there's an enormous amount of pressure on them to be able to walk in. I mean, go back to Kareem.
Yeah.
Where, he came in, but that was a different NBA.
Man. I think
LeBron.
Yeah, I would say LeBron. I think that they are really trying to change the face of the NBA, and because after the great Jerry West, the majority of the people that was considered superstars were African American, and you know, you have like the Larry Birds, but they wasn't like the face of the NBA. How you got LeBron the face of the NBA, you got Jordan the face of the NBA, and then now they say Anthony Edwards the face.
You
of
say
the,
you changed the logo? That's heresy, man.
They ain't gonna change the logo.
I don't think
but
they
trying to
should
change the complexion.
logo.
But they changing the complexion of what
changed in the 70s.
Well, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, you know, you saw that New York Knicks team was in the 80s. That was like the Knickerbockers because it was all black.
Yeah,
you know, so now they're always looking for and you know what, and that's hard. If you're a descendant of enslaved Africans in this diaspora, that's a hard one. But think about it just for a moment. Go 35,000 feet. Black people go and they watch the NBA because there are people that look like them.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, it. So why then wouldn't white people want people that look like them? I'm only throwing that out as, you know, just.
No, I think about it. You know, I think about hockey. Hockey, the face of hockey is majority white.
Oh, yeah.
So even though hockey was stolen from us.
Oh, boy.
No, from the guys in Canada.
Oh, boy.
The black guys in Canada.
Okay.
But we ain't going to go down that rabbit hole.
Okay.
But however, if you look at the viewership.
There was no ice in Africa.
No. Actually, Google it. Pull it up.
Oh, Lord.
Pull it up.
Black people invented hockey?
No, pull it up.
Okay, I'm going to
pull it up. And I want to have this conversation. The first black people, they had a team. They had a team, man. There was some cats out on skates, man. Punching each other in the mouth.
Now, if you would say in Milwaukee, because in Milwaukee, black people ice skated.
Man,
black people ice skated in Milwaukee. When I was coming up as a kid, every Christmas, my mom would get me skates, and we'd be right down to Garfield Park ice skating. So we ice skated here. But yeah, pull that up. Black people, we invented hockey?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find it amazing that they have with the NHL game so many black commentators, but I think only 13 of them ever played in the National Hockey League. I did do it. Well, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I know your history.
Know your history.
Let's see. Here we go. The assertion that hockey was stolen from blacks referred to historical contributions of black Canadians to the sport, particularly through the Colored Hockey League of Maritimus, and how these contributions were marginalized or overlooked as white-dominated leagues gained prominence. While hockey exact origins are debated, the Colored Hockey League, established in 1895, showcased black players' innovations like slap shot and athletic goaltending, which were later adopted by other leagues.
Yeah.
The Colored League, this is all black league, formed in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Played from 1895 to the 1930s, and its influence on the development of the hockey game is significant. Black hockey innovations. The league is credited with pioneering the slap shot, allowing goaltenders to drop to their ice to stop the puck. Practices later adopted by other leagues, including the NHL. Marginalization and erasure. The league's contributions were largely ignored and minimized as white-dominated leagues like the National Hockey League rose to prominence. There's a book. Okay, Black Ice. Authors George and Daryl Fosty wrote the book Black Ice, The Lost History of the Colored Hockey League of the Maritimes, which brought the history to light according to Facebook and highlighted how black players and their innovations were disregarded as players gained recognition.
Yeah, man. So it was stolen from us.
Well,
and they took it.
We didn't invent the game. Well, the style of play.
No, but what I'm saying is we don't get credit for it because the majority of the league, if you look at the NHL, the majority of the league is white.
Yeah.
And when you got a couple black players, I forgot his name. He was playing for Nashville. The one guy that was really good, I forgot his name.
I know you're talking about.
So it was a lot of racist stuff that he was getting from the fans and from the. But these people don't understand that we was doing it first.
We were doing it in conjunction too, but we had our own style.
Yeah, but look at the style that the NHL is using. They took from that.
Black folks. Okay, so you precipitated
Yeah.
a phone call. I use that big word, precipitated.
Hey, I'm gonna add that to my vocabulary.
Precipitated. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A question. The Canadians, it was a black Canadian hockey team, but they said Wikipedia, it was kind of invented by a culture of different people, white and different cultures of people kind of got together with that, but it ended up being more white European later on in life, but black was a black hockey league of blacks in Canada at one time, and then they moved on from there. But then, I don't know if they invented it, but they formed a league, and then it formed from there to different cultures back in 1895.
Right.
But I did hear that on the radio, what the gentleman said, just turned around a little bit his wording, but they said that a while back, but blacks had was it hockey. I think we talked about it in the Black History Month.
Yeah. Well, and thank you, Jermaine.
Yeah.
And I have a question for you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
If I could. When is Homer Blow birthday in June? What day is his birthday on?
June 23rd.
Okay, 23rd.
So he's already had it, so it's belated, but he always does this around the time of his birthday.
Right. June, yeah, the month your birthday is in, I always say it's still your month, because mine was the 18th, and I still celebrate my birthday.
Okay. Well, when's your birthday?
Yeah. It was the 18th.
Oh, okay. So you're a Gemini.
Yeah, but I don't know whose signs really go with what, because I don't follow that, because people kind of have stereotype thinking of different signs mean this, or you're schizophrenic. Last time I checked, there's a lot of personalities out here, and they don't fit the June birthdays at all. I think
Gemini is twins, right?
Yeah, that's twins. But I don't go by that. When people say you could turn on somebody, I know people who turned on people, and they had nothing to do with a Gemini at all.
Yeah, but I do know some Geminis.
It was good seeing you last night too.
Oh yeah, you too.
I did speak to you when I came in, so it wasn't like you were one of the first people I spoke to.
But Keith, you were getting all those accolades from all those nice ladies. I seen that. So was Keith walking the door.
Accolades. I was trying to figure out what do they do to pour. That's what I was.
Did you get all your pours when you came in?
I got. I think I got the last 5.
But she said she was going to go and back it back up. You could have had it back up.
No,
I think you and Judge
I was
Ashley
okay with the little bit that I had. But yeah, I think I got the last 5 pours, and then that I was telling Michelle that mimosa smoothie.
Oh, that was good.
That was very good. That was very good. So
I started to order that one, but I didn't. But I like that.
Well, she said you can get the machine. What's it called? The Ninja, that you can make it at home.
Oh, I won't be doing all that.
Right. She had that machine she made it with. She said you go to Amazon and get. So
I can come up to the station and make some for y'all, though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if we still have our cabaret license, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know about your license either.
Right.
Okay, you guys think. Bye.
You know, one of the real ironies is that you can be an 18-year-old bartender, but you can't drink.
Why would I want to?
And a lot of that is because people have family businesses. So the kids, because literally you can take your 12-year-old to Summerfest and give them beer as long as they're with their parents.
That's crazy.
And that's what used to be the deal, because those kids would go down, and I don't know if they had bands for them. Say, I'm with my mom and dad. Yeah, your mom and dad is 30 miles from here. Caller, welcome to the program.
Yeah. To Jermaine's point, you're right. Because the Milwaukee Admirals are the minor league affiliate of the Nashville Predators.
Yep. And you know, part of the history of the Bradley Center was initially they thought they would get an NHL,
a hockey arena,
right? The predecessor.
It was built to be
built for
hockey,
not basketball. So when
you're right, Keith.
But this is real interesting. So the origins of hockey can be traced back thousands of years, with references in Egypt, Greece, and Iran.
Wow.
Right? The modern game developed in Canada in the 19th century, influenced by European and indigenous games. The indigenous roots is the Mi'kmaq people of Nova Scotia play the game using a wooden block on a hurley stick. 1875 was the first indoor game played in Montreal. First rules were drafted in the United Kingdom. And McGill University students Robertson and Smith created the first rules. McGill University Hockey Club, the first recognized team, was formed, and that was in 1880.
See, and the reason why I say, man, that it was taken from us is because you don't see, man, that they give those people in Canada credit for
Right.
To what they created and what they came up with. It's like they
Well,
don't give them
like
no
black
credit.
People didn't invent basketball,
right?
But
who
we
won the cup this year?
revolutionarized, huh?
Who won the cup this
I
year?
think Florida, right?
Yeah, Miami, the
Florida.
Panthers.
Yep,
Florida
the
Panthers.
Yep,
I was telling my buddy he lives in Tampa, and I said, "Isn't it amazing that these warm weather cities are winning in the cold water?" Yeah. But it was Florida Panthers.
And there's a drought. There's a drought with Canadian teams. I think the last Canadian team hadn't won the cup in like almost 25 years.
Yeah, the one was at the Edmonton.
I think it was Edmonton.
Yeah.
They talked about the riot. Was it Vancouver?
Oh.
I'm trying to remember. They had the riot. I'm trying to think what team that was. And man, it was becoming obvious they're getting ready to lose this tournament. All these people, because that whole Great North.
Yeah.
You saw with the Raptors.
Yeah.
That's what we do in the Stanley Cup. And it wasn't Edmonton. I'm trying to think of the city.
Wait.
Vancouver?
Because you got the Vancouver Canucks. You got the Edmonton
Oilers. Well, that was Wayne Gretzky. I used to love them back in the day.
I used to love Wayne
Gretzky.
Oh,
man.
They was Ottawa?
Who?
Ottawa, yeah.
No, it wasn't Ottawa. It was like one of those Western Providence. Let me pull up hockey.
I remember.
I know Toronto. Ain't won it in like almost 60 years.
Yeah. And neither had the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Well, Toronto's Maple Leafs.
Yeah, Toronto's Maple
the
Leafs.
Canadians.
Ontario.
Montreal.
Yep.
It was Vancouver.
Wow.
2011.
Okay. All right.
Vancouver Stanley Cup riot was a large-scale disturbance that occurred in downtown Vancouver. There's a ESPN documentary.
Wow.
What year was that?
That was in 2011, June 15th.
Okay. Oh, I thought it was longer than that. I thought the drought was longer than that.
Yeah. So they they always talk about when we riot.
Oh man.
The stuff that white people riot about.
Oh man.
Not only that though, Keith, but if you look at NHL hockey, when they fight in hockey, it's good for the game.
Yeah,
when they get into it in baseball, it's good for the game.
They endorse that.
But when you have a fight in the NBA and it's blacks, they're thugs.
You get suspended for the year.
Yeah, and you get called thugs, and it's just there's no place for this in the game. There's no place for this in the game. But
you guys
you get that label.
You guys are. Come on.
Like
you're thugs, you're little punks.
Right. It's like, come on, man.
Well, you know what? Look, if you see an NBA fight,
now it ain't fights. It's just it's like swinging in the air.
They scratch it. Now
back in the day, when Kareem hit Kent Benson.
Oh man, or Dallas in the Palace. That brawl.
That was a fight.
I mean, when dude went up in the stands,
Steven Jackson.
When Bill ain't Bill clothesline Larry Bird.
Yeah. Kermit Washington, when he hit Rudy Tuntama, just broke his face literally.
No, but Kent Benson
Kareem broke his hand.
I thought he broke Kent Benson's nose.
He did, but he broke his hand.
Oh, he broke his hand.
He broke his hand, so he was out. He punched him out, dude.
Hey, but that was because Kent Benson elbowed him like hard, like on purpose.
And I remember there was a guy that played with the Chicago Bulls named Luke Whitty, and he elbowed, was it Kareem or Lanier? Dude just took him out.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
And then, of course, my favorite NBA fight of all time, Juwan
What about the time when Sidney Moncrief slammed Danny Ainge?
Oh, I remember that fight with Sidney Moncrief.
Yeah, he slammed Danny Ainge underneath the basket.
I remember that.
Well, Robert Parrish, when he took out Lambeer.
Yeah, that was after. That was after Lane Beard closed Bird.
And he came up and he did something. All you see is the players down here. They still out of the basket. And he wearing that beer out.
Yeah.
But Manute Bol and Jawan on him. That was like Manute started. See, that's the problem, y'all. We live in the diaspora. In the diaspora, black people talk more about fighting than they actually fight. Right? We lining up, we posturing. They from Africa. They ain't into all of that posturing, trying to look like Ali. So man, he was just wearing them out, and Manute was the boop, boop, boop.
Letting him have it.
He was letting them have it, man. I keep telling people, don't. I was telling my buddy, we think, and let's just, yeah, man, I'm good. We think black people believe we can beat anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, we the greatest fighter on the planet. Yeah. Let us tell it.
Till you get punched.
Ask those dudes who go to the military. Meet this dude from West Kakalaka, West Virginia.
They beat that country farm strong.
And man, he hungrier than you.
Yeah.
He gonna fight you. Larry Bird wasn't scared of nobody, man.
Yeah, that's one thing I liked about Bird.
Yeah, he came up the rough side of the mountain. And that's the thing. We just kind of, because, like I said, not to say, because I remember we was a kid, we square up like it was Ali. That ain't real fighting.
If you want to fight me, knock this off my shoulder.
Yeah. Oh, talk about what we gonna do to you.
Yeah, knock this off my shoulder.
Hit my head.
I'm gonna blow your head clean up. Say another word. Say another word.
Say something else.
Say something else.
As soon as you say something else, say something else.
And you better not say nothing about my mama.
Right.
You better not say nothing about my mama.
I love Clifton Powell. Oh, Pinky. Yeah,
He was going nuts. Say something else. Shut up. Say something else. Hey,
who sent you? Now, who sent you?
Hey, he was trying to say, shut up. I told you, shut up.
You tell me to shut up and then ask me a question.
Juice
I try to answer the question. You tell me to shut up again.
Shut up. Yeah, right.
It's almost like shut your face when you're talking to me. Like, how
don't say another
thing.
Tattoo.
Ooh.
Today, is this your cousin?
He would keep tears in his eyes.
You fired, Roach. You fired.
Right.
Had me scared.
Let me scared. Oh man, and it's something, man. When you look at those last two Fridays, it was the pimps that really stole the movies.
Yeah,
it was the pimps. It was the pimp, man. Oh my God, man. Anyway, we good, man.
Yeah.
Out of here.
We'll get up out of here, Jeff.
Oh man.
We had a busy morning, man. A lot of guests.
Mr. Charles Wilson, who will be with us tomorrow night. GRANVILLE Blues and R&B. And let me thank Miss Tiffany Terry, Star Red. Let me thank Emmett, Lisa from Housing Resources Inc. Emo, thank you. Jermaine, thank you. On Home and Glow. Saturday, right there, 3400 West North Avenue, Simmons Boys Girls Club, students. Right there. So Home and Glow birthday party.
31st.
31st. Wow. Take your birthday. Celebrate something there. You're good. Nothing happens on July 12th. The crazy thing, some of this I'll tell you all three of us. I can believe I bet. You too? Right, y'all. Hey, good Lord willing, free from rise. And as always, let's just go to peace.